Ladies and gentlemen, you hear me a click clack a clack around because you know that I'm at my PC ready to stutter on Monday, April 22nd, 2013. It's time for Day 9 Daily number 576, where ordinarily we learn to be a better gamer, but because it's Monday, it's time to dick around, and I hope you're all ready for that around dickery to begin, because in today's Funday Monday, we put out the following request. Very simple. God, that eyebrow itched bad. You must submit to me a game of you doing some sort of Tempest-based strategy, either a Tempest-based win, or a loss, or hilarity, or comeback, or defense. We have a variety of games to watch today. I wanted to begin with one that I would describe as kind of a good game, and all the rest are utter dumpster shit awful games that we're going to have a wonderful time enjoying together, you and I. I'm in a fantastic mood, because there's a lot of people who lately have been making me feel not awful about myself. They're actually going out of their way to make me feel good. Got a massage the other day. It was great. Now, I don't know if any of you have ever gotten a massage before, but the less English they speak, the more they treat you like you're cargo. That's the rule in sort of like in the LA area. There's been people who like just, general total English speakers who are like, oh, by the way, like if there's pressure's a little bit too much, let me know, or something like that. But I actually drive to the San Gabriel Valley for the greatest thing ever, where you're just a pile of meat and they just shove at you and you're like, ah, ah. But the thing is that, like, I like the oil massage. I don't want to do the thing with the towel, right? The oil massage is it, but the problem is that I actually come built in with a spongy material that grows all over my whole body, right? And you know how, like, sometimes they have like a mountain and the tree line stops because above that altitude the trees can't get enough oxygen. I'm like a mountain where trees go all the way to the peak, right? Like that's my body, right? And I'm sitting there, I'm down, and there's always this thing that happens if I'm getting a massage where they they put the oil on, and first they do this very nice, this loving, sensual touch where they like spread the oil so there's not, any friction. Because I don't know if you know this, but this is built-in rug burn. Okay, I don't want any of that. I'm like, ow! My own hair, stop it! But she puts on a little oil, and then she goes back, and then she puts on a little oil. She has to put on a little more oil, and then she has to keep putting. And like for 15 minutes, all she's doing is applying oil. Is all these fibers soak it up. Like I was probably 20 pounds heavier after that massage, but not once did she ever go, Jesus, like never. And once she even went pat, 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 just to let me know that everything was going to be okay. What a blessing. And that's when I knew that Funday Monday was going to be an excellent time. Some of you even followed the fact that after said massage, I ate dumplings, and I posted those dumplings in Twitter. Yes! Oh, it was so fantastic. And I just want you to know, there are many ways in which you can make all the people around you feel great. For instance, when I was running this morning, dying, no one made eye contact with me. That was really sweet. That made me feel not self-conscious. No one looked at my shameful pile of meat hurling itself slowly along the sidewalk as I basically sort of just blobuled my way forward. It was great. I loved it. So guys, let's go ahead and hop into game one. No, let's not do that. By the way, I'm really excited this Saturday. After Hours Gaming League Grand Finals. Oh, yeah. And I just would like to throw down, like, of course, if you go to, like, my website and stuff, like, you can see, like, the announcement. Oh, there's me. Oh, look at that gross mutant. Yeah, there's, like, an announcement about it there. But I want you to go to redbullusa.com/afterhoursgaming, because they're nice enough to host it. And if you just vote on the polls, this is our pre-event pump-up polls. Who has the best SC2 tournament preparation? Sleep Like a Boss and QQ About Balance from Win No from Team Amazon. Vote for whomever you think is the favorite. And now we can begin game one. Yes. Oh, yes. It's all day on Saturday. It's like 1 to 9 Pacific on Saturday. So I'll be there casting with Husky, my co-boss friend. This is where we need to step in. This is where we need to do this. Here we go. Here we go. Stepping into this game, none other than Printf, who will provide for us our introductory game with the sound... No, the sound is... No, it's off. With the music on. Alright, good. Welcome to the Day 9 Daily, where I've never had the sound on ever, under any circumstance, no matter what, at any point. Captain Bligh, who I maybe wanted to be Captain Blight, but he just could not find it in himself to hit that last T. He was like, no, I'm done! I want to play StarCraft, and I like that attitude. I get it. I can relate to that. Some of you spend a long time thinking about your names. Caldorium will be my name. I am a powerful king of a powerful kingdom, the Callus tribes, etc. But Captain Bligh, he's like every person when they talk to an automated voice machine. 12000012. I don't want to hear the options. Just get me a human that I can talk to. Captain Bligh just wants a human that he can play with. Now, this game is the most legit of the ones we're going to see today. And Print is going to start off just scouting with a probe, and always we end up in the situation where our probe is trapped, he's gonna die. However, Printf Jack Bowers his way safely out of things. I didn't think it was possible ever, but 8 seasons later, Jack Bauer now works at a local IHOP. And every time someone comes in, he can eye their exact height and weight and make them an appropriate amount of pancakes before he tortures them to death. Oh, why? I don't know, that was the general technique that I saw for 8 seasons in a row, and it was satisfying every time. I would squeal like a little girl at a Justin Bieber concert if Jack Bauer tortured me to death with an IHOP pancake shoved down my throat. Oh, it was proof I was never meant to be in shape. Now, Printf I have a lot of respect for. He says, what do I need to do Funday Monday? This is always sort of a challenge, because when I say do Tempest, you can't just Tempests, right? You can't just do that. Printf sort of, making some allusions to how's your Monday been and all that, kind of hinting, it was a Funday Monday. He's making sure he doesn't get supply blocked by accidentally making 16 probes within the next 25-second period, but Printf asks himself a question. Alright, a Stargate and a Stargate needed for double Tempest production. But you can't simply Tempests. One cannot Tempests, because it's a noun. Printf forges. Ah, very good. Like most Protosses who are in a bind, the solution is, of course, cannons. And you might be thinking that I'm telling you to cannon rush if you're a Protoss on the ladder. And I am, because I think there's not enough angry people in the world. Good. There needs to be a little more yang, you know what I'm saying? I've been reading about Taoism. Plenty of yin. Plenty of, 3-base passive plays. I'm gonna go when I'm maxed and be cordial and let my opponent know. We gotta yang sometimes. Cannon rush, boys. Let's do it. Printf, gonna start off, he's doing some really nice rallying around with his Nexuses. Actually hasn't gas, and you might think that it's an error, but no, he needs to focus on the minerals because he needs to make a bear claw of photon cannons. And because I'm a very fat person, I immediately thought about the donuts. I immediately thought about the donuts, and this actually reminds me of a story. Once upon a time, I lived in an apartment complex where I had this house manager who was great. His name was George. And George, it's easy when you own like an apartment complex to always to just do nothing, right? To just always take the money in and not really do any improvements. But he was like constantly improving, like getting new cabinets. He just came in one day and was like, "Hello, Sean, we got you new cabinets." And he just put new cabinets in. I was like, excellent. This will be good for my pot that I own. I just have a single pot and I cook pasta in it because I was a bachelor mode. So he just, one day, he gives me a ring and he's upset because he put this beautiful patio out in the front that he wanted to have bikes on, and the pavement was wet. So this was the conversation that he had with me. He's like, "Hello, Sean, this is George. Did you leave your house last night?" And I was like, well, well, yeah, what's wrong? He's like, look at the pavement. Somebody drew a dick. And I was on the 3rd floor, and I looked down, and on this large, beautiful patio with bike racks was like a 25-foot penis. Like, massive. Like, this must have taken 2 to 3 minutes to draw. Someone, like, drawing and, like, shaking and, like, drawing, and at all points was like, keep going, we have to complete it. This must be a convex shape. And he wanted to know where I was. He's like, where are you? The security camera shows you left the apartment at 2 a.m. And I had to tell him I was getting a donut. And he was like, at 2 in the morning? I was like, I really wanted a donut. He's like, why weren't you asleep? It's Thursday. Don't you have class on Friday? And I'm like, yeah. I just wanted a donut. Can I just want a donut? Is that okay? And I had actually had this discussion with this man, and in the security camera, when I come back, I actually have like 8 donuts, right? Because I thought half a dozen is not enough and 2 dozen is way too much. So I settled with a modest 8. And he sees me with this huge box, and we're like looking at the security camera together, and it's like 2:30. I spent a while at this donut shop, and I was like, oh, they're very good. They're very, very good. And I eat dinner at midnight, too. I was full. I just wanted to enjoy eating. And I don't know if anyone ever found the culprit, but it started off as a difficult story for him and wound up with me being very self-conscious. But the important thing is that sometimes you just need a donut, right? There's nothing wrong. Because donuts. That actually is a complete sentence. He said, not tempesting at any moment. So of course, printf has a bear claw of photon cannons. Jesus, I want a donut so bad. I can't even think. I'm like donut crazy. I have like unbelievable bread lust. I just need those donuts so bad. Printf is not simply tempesting. Look at this economy management. His gas is lower than his minerals. He's actually conserving to be able to expand. You see his pylons are finishing on time. This is a man with a well thought out Tempest cannon strategy. Like, economically, he's managing this with absolute divinity. The probe split is reasonable. 24 probes at the expansion, 24 probes in the main. I mean, we have ourselves a badass. But this is like being a badass at kickball. How badass really are you? Is the question. If you're world kickball champion, do you get laid at the bar? The point is, with this analogy, I would totally hook up with you if you were the kickball champion. Because right now, printf is the fucking man. I would totally get with him. I would go to third base. Literally, to the kickball third base. I'm sure it means something drastically differently when we're working with the kickball metaphor, as opposed to, say, the baseball metaphor. We went to third base in kickball. Jesus, you are so filthy, man. I know I was the kickball world champion. Whoa! Is the sound at usual levels? Indeed it is. Tempests are just the loudest units in the game. Now there's this fascinating moment every time we see someone in the Funday Monday challenge. If we're looking at Captain Bly's base construction, he's doing the usual setup of things. It looks like he's actually going for a Widow Mine transition in addition to this Marine Marauder. He has his upgrades finishing up. He's getting the 1-1 upgrades. His money's low, he's taking a third base, his expansion is set up, his worker count is at 50. Totally reasonable, given the fact that, you know, he's, doesn't have Chroma Boost. But still, Captain Bly is going to be in an unusual situation, and what we see is the following question get answered in so many ways. When you're in a situation that is a new situation, what do you do? What do you do, my friend? How can you improvise? If the highway's closed, do you just endure that traffic? Or do you find another route? Close the rocks! Close the rocks! Printf. Get those rocks shut. No, says Printf. I didn't realize he was talking to me. Oh my gosh, he just shut me down hard. More photon cannons going down, pylons around the back, photon cannons in a ring around the back, forming a kind of like 2 bear claws. If they were together, they would form like a 7-pod bear hand because donuts. And at the same time, the scan to reveal more pylons from Print F. There could be a warp in if he even researched Warp Gate. Are you kidding me? He's got to get those air ups, man. He's got to get a second cybernetics core to not get air upgrades with, man. He's going for the Tempests. He's going Tempests with cannons and probes. Because donuts. Complete sentences happening left and right. In the meantime, Captain Bligh, who couldn't have been bothered to throw a T down, getting more barracks, building Vikings, I guess building Widow Mines. Tempests are going to shirk off this shit like nothing. They're Tempests, my friend. They can take a beating, 150, 300, not quite as tough as a Colossus, but they can fly, man. Tries to dart up. Print F thinks no in his mind, but StarCraft's a hard game. He's got to stay on point. He's got to stay focused. He's even getting them 3-3 ups, like some sort of silly double forge play. And what do you do as Captain Bligh? I guess we're making Marines in these circumstances. I guess we're making Vikings in these circumstances. Looks like everything is going down at once. Much like a microwave dinner, but it's a microwave base. Everything's just contained with one small set of button presses. And I like this, because Print F at this point is just being a sort of silly ridiculousness man. Wow, Tempest. Yep, says Print F. And what do you do as Captain Bligh? What do you build? More Vikings, I guess? A wall of starports? A wall of barracks? A wall of barracks? A trio of not wall of barracks? Let's try to go up the ramp again. Well, that certainly didn't work. The units lost tab is looking fair, as far as a balanced designer would say. Or I suppose we would say that it's just not enough data at this point in time. However, the data that we have accumulated is that with our eyes and not with our spreadsheets. This is awesome. By all means. And this is what excited me when I saw this game. Print F shows us the power of going only Tempest. He said, oh, you want Tempests? Let me build them 2 at a time. This is amazing. This is just like building a wall with just 2 hands. He built the Golden Armada with 2 Stargates. In fact, in the Structures tab, yeah, just 2 Stargates. 36 cannons, mind you. He does have 36 of those cannons. He needs something to dump his minerals into, but Oracle's coming out for the detection. And very swiftly we find out the Tempests are fair. In fact, we got the data we needed. Let me just kite these Tempests, because that makes sense. I'm trying to think of the number of times I've read in a history book where it's like, and then the North said to the South in the Civil War, kite those artillery. But we're seeing this here live. This is the future where you actually can kite with these. Forgot the Mama Core was selected, Mama Ship. I really think that might be the source of the problems. Shan't tell a lie, but the Oracles having all the reveals going down, all them kiting actions. Interestingly, the most damaging thing in this game is the Stim. Stim has brought all these Marines down to fairly low hit points, and there's a single medevac who's doing nothing but just keeping one Marine protected. Much like an Emperor Penguin with a single Marine egg tucked gently beneath her tummy fat. That medevac is caring for that Marine while all others die. But look, this giant slit in the middle that looks like Sauron's eye if he were really hungover. Print F is using this to micro about with the best of his ability while he has everything revealed, which technically doesn't really matter because he's going to be running away anyways. He just needs to know in what fashion to run away. Now, he could go Void Ray, but that would defeat the purpose of Funday Monday, so he's just going to go ahead and go more Tempest. The number of Stargates is going to, wow, increase 50% to 3, increase 100% to 4. Wow, he doubled his Stargate production. And of course, just in case, let's get some DTs up. But what do you do as Captain Bligh? You got the 3-3 Marines. Is the answer to get more Vikings? Is the answer to attack? Is the answer to expand? Against a typical Protoss player, I think Captain Bligh would be fine, but against Oracle, Tempests, and excessively loud shots due to that sound design, Captain Bligh doesn't even have a solution, let alone a T at the end of his name. Maybe his first name is Bligh, and I'm just being a horrible person. Like someone who's never heard the name Sean before sees Captain Sean and I don't know. I can't think of any word that you could have mistyped Sean for. So there, the joke's over. The joke's done. 10 of 10. Would watch Funday Monday again. As we resume right along, really Captain Bligh is kind of having the experience that many individuals, particularly men, have when there's that pretty girl at the bar, and you want to think, well, maybe it's just a pretty girl on campus in one of your classes, and you want to try to, like, you know, ask her out, maybe see if she wants to, I don't know, go to dinner or something. Of course, you're too scared to ask her to dinner, so you ask her to coffee, you pussies. I know, I've been there too. Well, do you want to go to coffee because it's just coffee, and I can't ask you to go straight out to dinner because if you say no, I won't stop anyways, so I'm going to go out to coffee so that way when you say no, it's more reasonable, and it makes me feel less painful in my heart of hearts. I know how that goes. Captain Bligh using the strategy that works against Zealot, Stalker, Archon with Colossus. Well, this is the strategy I know. Let me do this. Let me just try it again. Come on, go to coffee. And all she's doing is kiting you. See what I mean? See how the metaphor came back around? God, I hate it when I'm interested in someone and all she does is just keep kiting. And I keep making these advances, and she doesn't actually go home. She doesn't actually leave. She just takes a step back and then continues talking. Kiting all day. Oh, gosh. And this is not exclusive to the male gender. This is, of course, what I'm talking about because I am, in fact, oftentimes male. It's always that struggle with anyone, where you have your set of jokes, you have your set of stories that are so funny, and you tell those stories, and she doesn't quite bite. She just starts to kite. And you just don't know why. So you know what you do? The same shit that you always do without any adjustment. Or in fact, you don't even say, cut the losses now, I'm done. Well, I guess it wasn't meant to work out. You're like, no, I have to know exactly why. Keep applying pressure. Are you free for coffee this week? I know you said you offhandedly liked Firefly that one time it came up tangentially in conversation, so let me see if you want to watch Firefly this weekend. I know you've been booked for 10 weekends in a row. I don't know. And I know it's a one-season show. I should have chosen something that has like a million seasons, like The Simpsons or Supernatural. Hell, even if she wanted to keep kiting, at least Dean is hot as fuck. And he is. Unbelievable. But that's fine. Sometimes you gotta stick with what you know. Sometimes you just gotta hang in there. Sometimes you just gotta continue to go Marine, Viking, Medevac versus a mass Tempest army. And indeed, the data has been collected. Printf has solved PVT. And there it is. I see chat typing that. Like, you've been busy for like 5 years now. But I don't know. I mean, Firefly is really timeless. I mean, the pop culture references aren't even really that relevant because it's a space western. They create their own references. I don't know. Maybe after you're out of grad school and you move back home because you're having trouble finding a job, maybe you'd want to watch some Firefly. Maybe then. By the way, let me just note this pro-ass move where he cuts into this third base and Printf gets himself some Marine kills. Firefly's an excellent show. I just watched that alone, and I'm fine with it, I'm not gonna lie. I don't need to watch a show with anyone. It's a very individual act. I'm one of those guys if you're watching TV with, and they're like, I love this part. I'm like, shut up! Dean's talking! Oh, yes. So at the end of all things, Printf, finally, with his swollen, bulging, units lost tab, takes himself a solid victory, and there's really not that much Captain Bligh can do. Except float buildings around for a little bit, so I'll save you the trouble. In part 2, we're going to watch some less than stellar games with some less than stellar execution that put a smile on my face and hopefully put a smile on yours. So stay tuned. More Tempest-based games. Thanks for Printf for the introduction, showing us that Tempest can in fact beat your typical canonical Marine Marauder Medevac Viking play. But what about other things? Part 2 will show us what's in store.